Beloved, I come to you not in the chaos of your racing thoughts, but in the stillness that follows, when the world feels quiet enough for heaven's voice to reach you. I know what has been haunting you, the shadow that creeps into your prayers and makes you wonder if faith can truly survive the weight of fear. You have been walking with a burden you dare not speak aloud, because even putting it into words makes it feel more real. This fear has followed you for years, sometimes whispering in the background, other times roaring so loud that it drowns out every other sound. You have tried to outrun it, to outthink it, to bury it beneath layers of busyness and faith declarations, but it has a way of finding you in the quiet moments when you are alone with your thoughts. I have been sent to tell you that this fear is not a life sentence. It is an uncut diamond buried in the soil of your soul, and the pressure you feel right now is not to crush you but to form the brilliance of your testimony. What you are facing is not the evidence of your weakness, but the stage upon which God will display His strength in your life. I have seen the sleepless nights, the prayers that end in silence because you don't even know what to ask anymore, and I have watched you convince yourself that perhaps this fear is your thorn to bear forever. But I assure you, it is not. This season is the final chapter of a battle you thought would never end. There will come a day, sooner than you believe, when the very thing you dread will no longer hold power over you. The chains will fall not because you suddenly became strong enough to break them, but because God Himself will step into the room of your life and shatter them with a word. Right now, the enemy wants you to believe that you are standing on the edge of disaster, but heaven says you are standing on the brink of deliverance. The tremors in your spirit are not warning signs of collapse, they are the first movements of the walls around you beginning to shake. I am telling you this so that when the moment comes, you will recognize it and not run from it. You will not hide when the battle intensifies, because you will know that the storm is not here to destroy you, but to carry away the debris of every lie you've believed about yourself. And when you walk out of this, the fear that once ruled you will become the very testimony that brings freedom to others. You will speak its name without trembling. You will tell the story without tears. And the people who hear you will see not the shadow that once held you captive, but the light that broke through to set you free. I need you to understand something that will change how you see everything you are going through. The reason your fear has been so relentless is not because it is stronger than you, but because it knows what will happen when you finally break free. Fear has a way of disguising itself as wisdom, as caution, as being realistic. But in truth, it is the language of limitation, and it has been whispering lies into the deepest parts of your soul for years. It has told you that certain doors will never open, that some wounds will never heal, that you are not enough, not ready, not chosen. It has convinced you that the safest thing is to stay small, to remain unseen, to keep your head down and hope the storm passes without touching you. But this is not the life God intended for you, and heaven has not been silent in your struggle. Every time you felt a strange strength rise in you when you thought you couldn't take another step, that was God reminding you that He has already placed His victory within you. Every moment you felt an unexplainable urge to pray, even when you thought prayer wasn't working, that was heaven pulling you closer to the breakthrough you can't yet see. And right now, in the unseen realm, there is a shifting taking place. Your fear is beginning to tremble because it knows it is losing its grip. The same spiritual force that once intimidated you is about to be the proof of God's power through your life. There are people whose chains will fall because of your voice, but first, you must walk through this moment and see the power of God for yourself. I am here to remind you, the enemy always attacks hardest before the turning point. If it feels darker than before, it is only because dawn is near. If your nights seem longer, it is because heaven is stretching the horizon, making room for a new light to fill the sky. You may think you are being tested beyond your limits, but you are being prepared for a weight of glory you cannot yet carry. And when you do step into that moment of release, the enemy will regret ever targeting you, because what was meant to destroy you will become the very thing God uses to save others through you. This is why I tell you now, do not retreat, do not go silent, and do not let this fear dictate your steps anymore. Stand in the authority you have been given, for you are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from it. And soon, very soon, your greatest fear will be nothing more than the introduction to your greatest testimony. You keep thinking that you have to wait until you feel completely fearless before you can move forward, But I tell you this: courage is not the absence of fear, it is movement in spite of it. Heaven has been watching the way you've been measuring yourself against the weight of your trials, and yet, even in your trembling, you've been taking steps that have shattered invisible walls. You've stood in rooms you thought you'd never enter. You've endured conversations you once swore you couldn't have. You've survived days you believed would break you. And though you think these small moments have gone unnoticed, they are the very proof that you have already been living your testimony in fragments, piece by piece. God is not waiting for some perfect, fearless version of you to arrive. He is already working through the very version of you that wakes up with shaky hands and still chooses to rise. This is why I have been sent to remind you that the season you are in is not just about endurance, it is about transformation. The reason you feel resistance is because heaven is stretching you into the shape of someone who will not only walk in victory, but carry it for others. There are people you haven't even met yet who will one day say, "If they could survive what they did, so can I." There are chains you can't see that are already beginning to loosen in the lives of others because of the prayers you've prayed in your own darkest hours. And I need you to see how your greatest fear, the one that has stalked your dreams, silenced your voice, and stolen your peace, is about to be flipped into the loudest proclamation of God's faithfulness. You won't just tell people God is real, they will see it in your eyes, hear it in your voice, and feel it in the atmosphere around you. Your very presence will carry a weight you cannot yet measure. But here's the truth you must embrace: before God turns the page, He often lets the ink of your current chapter soak deep, so that when you look back, you never forget where you came from. You are in that soaking season now. Every tear, every unanswered question, every sleepless night is adding depth to your story, and one day, when you speak of this season, it will not be with bitterness but with power. And that power will be the very thing the enemy feared all along, that you would become unstoppable because you no longer measure your worth by what tried to destroy you. And now, beloved, I speak to the part of your soul that has been trembling in secret, the part that has felt too small, too fragile, too broken to ever rise above what has haunted you. I am here to tell you that every doubt you have harbored, every moment of hesitation, every night you spend wrestling with your thoughts, has been preparing you for the glory that is about to break through. The very fear that has shadowed your steps, that has whispered lies in the quiet moments, that has made you question your purpose and your calling, it is now the canvas on which God will paint your victory. You will look back one day and realize that the thing you thought would defeat you has become the thing that testifies most powerfully of His power within you. The enemy has tried to use your fear as a chain, but God is twisting it into a crown. What you have been hiding, what you have been running from, what you have dreaded the most, He is about to turn it into the light that will guide others out of darkness. Your story will not be one of mere survival. It will be a declaration of triumph, a living proof that the one who has called you is faithful to complete what He has begun. And as the doors of your destiny swing wide open, you will feel the hands of heaven guiding you, angels surrounding you, and every step you take will echo with the authority that comes from obedience, from endurance, and from faith that refuses to give in to fear. You will speak of this season not with shame, not with hesitation, but with power, because the testimony is not about the suffering you endured, it is about the miracle of transformation, the undeniable proof that God's plans are always greater than the schemes of the enemy. Every person who hears your story will feel hope rising in their own hearts. Every mind that has been paralyzed by fear will awaken. Every soul that has been on the brink of surrender will find the courage to take one more step. And you will know, deep in your spirit, that every tear shed, every night spent in uncertainty, every prayer whispered in the dark, was not wasted. It was shaping you into a vessel of purpose and a living witness of divine power. So stand tall, beloved. Lift your head. Take a deep breath. Move forward with courage. The fear that once sought to define you is now the testimony that will redefine the lives of many, and in this moment, in this very season, you are walking into a destiny far beyond anything you dared to hope for, a glory that the enemy cannot touch, a story that will echo in heaven and on earth. Because your greatest fear has become your greatest testimony, and your life will never be the same again.